How many times is this gonna happen? How many times? I'm actually scared for Talladega. This is ridiculous. For the second time this season, NASCAR has another driver that will have to be sidelined for a race due to concussion-like symptoms. It involves Alex Bowman, the Hendrick Motorsports driver of the number 48 car, currently 12th in the point standings, 26 points below the cut line heading into Talladega, will not compete, like I said, due to concussion-like symptoms following this crash at the Texas Motor Speedway, where he cut a tire and backed it into the outside wall in turns 3 and 4. A crash that he said, quote, was the hardest hit he's ever had in his career. Now, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How is it? And I know, different day, same verse. How is it that as we have gotten into a new generation of cars, we have somehow managed to regress, to go backwards in technology? We haven't seen this many issues in terms of driver safety with the COT car and with the Gen 6 car, at least in its infancy. Not so many issues in its first year like what we're seeing in this first year with the next gen car. It's absolutely ridiculous how many problems we have seen come up with driver safety. The racing product may be good, but driver safety is number one. And if it's not good, then we have a major problem. This is ridiculous that every single week now we're hearing drivers, more and more drivers come out saying that these cars, they are very stiff. The walls, it hurts more. It hurts more to hit other cars. I mean, Chase even said that he just wishes everyone comes home safely after his crash at Texas, which says a lot, that he doesn't even care about what happens to the other drivers in terms of points or anything like that. Just hopes that they get home safely. That says a lot. And now we're going to Talladega, especially in a playoff situation where we know that Talladega in this situation is always going to end in wreckfest. And when you have a car that is not safe, or at the very least not safer than the previous 2 generations of cars, that is a major issue. Knock on wood, but I hope we don't have a situation where we have numerous drivers, one of, if not more drivers, are injured, or at the very least have some type of issues with their head, because we're hearing a lot of drivers saying more pain in the head area, which is of course very important. Now, I'm not saying that the Texas crash is what caused it. Obviously, similar to Kurt Busch, accidents that took place for a long period of time, over a long period of time, accidents, they build up, especially in the head area. And finally, the wreck that broke the camel's back. With Kurt, it was at Pocono. With Bowman, it was at Texas. Coincidentally, both impacted the rear of the cars, which is of course the stiffest part of the next gen car. Now, the worrying part of it is what's going to happen with Alex Bowman for the rest of 2022. We saw with Kurt Busch, an accident that we thought maybe would take him out 1 or 2 weeks, ended up being an accident that will more than likely take him out for the rest of the season, for the entire half of the season more specifically. With Alex Bowman, we have 4 or 5 races left in 2022. Depending on the severity of his injury, how long would Alex Bowman be out of competition? Obviously, with the concussion, you have to take that very seriously. You cannot let a guy that's not 100% back into a race car with 39 other drivers on top of him at speeds of over 180, 190 miles an hour. You have to make sure that that driver is 110% healthy. So of course, the physicians at Hendrick Motorsports and NASCAR will make sure that Bowman is ready to compete. But how long will that take? We don't know. Again, it could be 1 or 2 weeks, or it could be for the remainder of the season. Regardless, this is not good for the next gen car, especially when you head into a track like Talladega this weekend. The thing that does give me a little bit of hope, Andy Petrie, who works as part of management at RCR, he said this about NASCAR and how he believes that there is change and they are ready to make change for next season.
I think NASCAR is doing a good job of, taking input, listening to what, we are saying as an industry. I don't know about the drivers. There again, they may not be getting, the response and that they feel like they need on some of these things. But NASCAR is working on the car. I see some future design changes that are hopefully going to address some of the things that the drivers say about some of the impacts, and maybe soon we can make the car a little better. But I'm pretty happy with the dialogue that we have, and the collaboration that we have when we're trying to fix problems. The steering is one of those. We've got a group of people that meet about that, put their input in it, so we can hopefully move forward and make that system a little better. So yeah, I'm happy with where we are on that.
So that is promising. That is a promising sign. However, we're heading to 3 tracks, roughly 3 tracks, that still are high speed. Talladega this weekend, Las Vegas, and Homestead. Martinsville and Phoenix, yes, it could provide some type of risk, but not to the extent that the 1.5 miles and the Super Speedway of Talladega would pose as a threat in terms of driver safety. But outside of that, obviously, my thoughts go out to Alex Bowman. Hopefully, he'll be able to recover as soon as possible so he can get back in a race car. It obviously sucks considering the situation he's in. Like I said, he's 12th in points, 26 below the cut line. Exactly, but kind of in a must situation, or at the very least, gain as many points as possible. Now he's in an either A, definite must-win situation next weekend at the Roval, or B, out of the playoffs and maybe out of the season, depending on, like I said, on the severity of his head injury. Now, the driver that will be replacing him will be Noah Gragson, who has been on a hot streak, has won the last 4 NASCAR Xfinity Series races, will replace him in the 48 car this weekend. And his Junior Motorsports teammate Justin Allgaier will take over his originally scheduled ride in the 62 car this weekend. This is a great opportunity for Gragson to show what he can bring in with this next-gen car, this time in top equipment in the Cup Series at a track that he has won in the past, won the Xfinity Series at Talladega earlier in April of this year. But yeah, with this next-gen car, it's absolutely ridiculous. I just hope we can get through the remainder of the season without any more injuries. That's honestly I hope for that. I don't care if Talladega produces 500 of the most boring miles ever. I don't care if we have a freight train. I honestly don't care. I'd rather take a freight train than a wreckfest that threatens driver safety. I would take a freight train any day with this next-gen car right now. And hopefully these issues can be solved in 2023 so we don't have another full batch case of drivers getting hurt. Because when you look at the season is only 2 months or so, which is very little time for drivers to cool down, relax, and get back on in a full 16-week grind with a then 1-week break and then another 20-week grind right after that. So hopefully we can just get through this season without any injuries, and hopefully, like Andy Petrie has stated, with NASCAR, they're listening. They can make the changes necessary to make these cars safe so we don't have to worry about drivers getting injured and sidelined every week.